take us through the process, and especially considering our audience today, the process vis-a-vis communicating to a new staff.
Right. So communication is a two-way process, right? First, as a leader, you got to listen to the people and those around you. And that was incredibly important for me to figure out how do we go ahead with a vision for the new Newsweek. So Nancy Cooper, who's our editor-in-chief, has been with Newsweek since the late 80s, right? So she graduated from Harvard University, took a job as at the letters department at Newsweek, because Newsweek would write back to every single reader who wrote to them. And today she's the editor-in-chief. She's kind of climbed the ladder all the way up to the top. And she would always say, historically, Newsweek believed it was a publication that is masked with class. Because 4.5 million copies were printed every week, and millions of people read it every week. So we sat and analyzed what is the equivalent of that in the digital era means. So that very much means we cannot be a niche boutique publication, so we have to have volume. So we kind of set a big goal that we want to be a publication that's reaching 100 million readers a month globally. Digitally, that's the equivalent of being a mass publication, right? But we have to do that with quality and class. So that was very important. So once we kind of defined that vision, then it was all about doing a strong internal communication to get buy-in. So change is always very difficult. And when you've had a lot of people whose livelihood has been disrupted because of the transformation, people are anxious, people are afraid, people are scared. When someone comes in and says, oh, we're going to go in this direction, and that is the future, if you're not, the business is at risk, jobs are at risk, people are anxious. And when people are anxious, they always resist, right? So communication is incredibly important to generate that buy-in. So the way I did it for our size of a business, which was very helpful, was I sat with the leadership team and made sure we had complete buy-in with them, right? They aligned with the strategy. That means we have to have a back and forth conversation, do a lot of negotiation, and agree this is the way we're going to go ahead. Once they were absolutely clear in what needs to be done, they were then able to go and have conversations with their teams, who were the people who are actually executing these plans, right? So there's a saying, great plans fail due to lack of execution, right? Mm-hmm. But if you communicate properly, execution is possible. Of course, there are mechanisms you can use to ensure execution is done properly, but communication is what really ensures there is less friction, things move smoothly, and you can really deliver results. And as you start executing, you got to listen to feedback from the market, feedback from your employees who are on the front line, and make sure that comes back to the leadership team and to myself so that we can fine-tune, come up with enhancements or changes to our plans, and then go back to execution, right? So that whole loop had to be done perfectly.